I don't know why my mic keeps changing itself to default instead of just leaving itself where it
A
is.
devotee is checking in. To ensure check-in is complete, please give me your credit card.
Thank you for the check-in. We will use and abuse that credit card, as we always do. Oh my goodness. It's been 3 weeks, guys. How we feeling? How we feeling, Chaotic Nation? I know. 3 weeks, can you believe it? Oh my goodness. But it was a good break. I
salute you, my Empress of Bottoms, mistress of the rear Sultana of the 1,000 harems.
Oh my goodness. I will say it was extremely nice to get a break. 3 weeks of profound sadness. Oh no. Well, I'm back now, so you don't have to be sad anymore. You know what? Let me grab my coffee out. Let's have. It's probably 100 degrees outside. It's probably not great to drink coffee right now. And then I do the bottom. Oh no. Yeah, so for those that do not know, I was on vacation for 3 weeks. Technically, I was only on vacation for 2 weeks, but I took another week off and got the rest of August off. Oh my god, 25,000 points, bro. I like how that's the first message you come in here with. Hi, potato.
I also raise a demonic army of the guts of Hello itself to burn the entire galaxy at your name.
Okay. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess it is. But yeah, I was gone for 3 weeks. I went to Alaska. This is actually my second time that I've been to Alaska. Like, out here at work is awful. Oh no. Don't worry, it'll be fine. Oh, apparently I heard that Steam is kind of down because Silk Song dropped. So if Stardew stuff don't work later, potato, we know why. Oh my gosh. Oh, also for some reason my ads manager is like broken, so I don't know when ads are gonna play until ads are gonna play. So just another thing. I don't know. I came back, things are broken. That's pretty much how it be. But I'm trying to talk about my trip to Alaska. So I went to Alaska. A lot of people might be wondering, why'd you go to Alaska? I like Alaska. Alaska's cold. It's very north. And I don't know. You can see a lot of wildlife. I like looking at a lot of wildlife. A lot of my background and forest and other things like that, if I ever put a forest in the background, it's probably inspired by Alaska. And funny thing about Alaska has a rainforest. Yeah, fun facts. Alaska has a rainforest. It is a cold rainforest, so it's not like the typical rainforest you think of. But it does have a rainforest. You can look it up. Google this. It has a rainforest. I know because 10 years ago I went to Ketchikan. And there is a place that you can go to that will lead you around in the rainforest, and they kind of talk about it a little bit. I don't remember much. It was 10 years ago. I didn't go this time, but Alaska does have a rainforest. But it also, Alaska does not have topsoil. So, you know topsoil, the soil that you usually plant crops and things in? Yeah, Alaska don't have that. It has rock, moss, and trees. You might be wondering, how do the trees grow? They grow on the moss. They grow in the moss. So they're able to grow on mountains and a lot of rocky areas really easily because of it. It's really funny. Actually, let me see if I can get some pictures up so I can show you guys some stuff. Should I bring it in? You know what? Sure. Maybe I'll bring it in via here. Hold on. Let me... Nah, you know what? It's probably easier... Oh. It's probably easier just to do it this way. I'm just gonna add an image source and then just call it Alaska. Browse. I will make sure that I don't put anything in here. This is just to make sure that I don't put anything in here that shows my face. Because I did take some selfie photos, so we don't want that. We don't want me doxing myself. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? It's up here in this one. Here we go. Ooh. Hello. Hold on, let me minimize this. Damn, this is big. This is massive. What the heck? This photo is a lot bigger than I thought it was. All right, so as you can see, with this picture, it's rock and moss. There is no topsoil. So the trees just grow they just grow on the rocks. That's how trees be. Trees be treeing and they be wild. And this is also a really nice waterfall. And fun fact about this particular waterfall, there was salmon still in it. The salmon run was still happening up in Alaska. If you don't know anything about the salmon run, basically, the salmons come back to Alaska every few years to basically make a bunch of babies, have some fun, have some boogie, and then they die. That's the salmon run. They just come up here, they do a little bit of boogie and orgy and stuff like that, and then they die. Honestly, best way to go out. That's the best way to go out in Alaska. But the fish actually help in basically feeding the moss, the trees, and everything. So they actually end up helping the ecosystem. So by them coming up there during the salmon run and dying, it actually helps the plants grow. It's a nice cycle of nature. I would say that Alaska is one of the most wilderness places that there still are that exist. So if you can get a trip to Alaska, I'd say do it. Now I went on a cruise. I went on a cruise to Alaska. I can take this picture off now. I went on a cruise. I know some people have some qualms about cruise ships and all of that, but it is a lot easier to go on a cruise ship because then you don't have to worry about travel from place to place. So if you want to go to multiple different places. What? Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. What? Huh? What do you mean I am in my blue period? Are you watching Blue Period, the anime, right now? Nope. I don't understand then. I just think blue period and I think anime immediately. Look. Look. Actually, speaking about anime, I'll talk about that. I the Tios have times. When... Oh. Well, I'm more purple than I am blue, right? Like, I don't count. Right? T. I am color blind to purple, so... Wait! Are you another person that's colorblind? Why am I getting all the colorblind people? I attract people with color blindness, apparently. That's second person. You know what? I don't even care. I'm always curious about people that have color blindness because I'm like, it's so interesting how you see the world. I have slight color blind to blues, but I see greens more strong. Oh, so you see George in a much more stronger way than you see the rest of me. Huh. Maybe it makes sense to why people like George now. Yeah, but anyways, to be honest, I don't see color. I see bottom. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no color, only bottom. Only the bottoms. Man, it's been a while since I've done streaming. I was a little concerned that I wouldn't know what to do. Tudu gang sign with his hand. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I was a little worried coming back to streaming that I wouldn't know what the hell I'm doing. I think I'm fine. What was I trying to say? Oh yeah, Alaska. So I went on a cruise, and instead of, with a cruise ship, you can go from place to place without having to worry about travel fees, food fees, all that sort of stuff. You know, the more things that you think about with travel, right? No, dude. Alaska's the best place. That is true. I think Alaska's pretty cool. I mean, you're not wrong, but Alaska has such a small town. Like, a lot of Alaska is very small townish, so there's not really many crimes because it's really hard for you to get away with it. Well, even still, like, you know, people would just assume with the snow that maybe you just died out in the snow. But even still, like, people are gonna be like, But, Alaska has a lot of very small town feel. And a lot of the places that we visited were very, very much small towns. I'm trying to think of one that wasn't. Oh, we did go to Canada as well. We went to British Columbia. That was definitely not a small town. That was a pretty big area. But most of the other places that we visited were very small towns. And okay, we went to the capital of Alaska, which is Juneau. Juneau is the only capital that I know of where the only way to get into Juneau is by seaplane or boat. There's no other way to get in. So if you kind of like rob somebody, there's not really many ways you can get off of there. Get off. You can't really go anywhere. You can't drive anywhere. The highway has dead ends on both sides. There's nowhere to go. So, so yeah, that it's really small town, but even still, like, it was very nice, you know, just kind of walking around and having fun. Oh, you're trying to follow, I think it's follow age if you're trying to use that command. But there you go. But it's been, you know, really hard. I've been really hard on myself for a lot of things, and just taking time away from social media and being off of social media and just kind of breaking away from it helped so much in putting me in a better headspace. So, and I think I really needed it. And the thing is that there is another cruise that my family wants to go on that'll be in April, and I'm just like, yeah, I know, social media do be crazy like that, right? It's like, how do you eat that? How do you eat that thing? But I really needed the breakaway. And I will say, you might be wondering, what did I do when I wasn't, like, what did I do on the trip? I did a few things. On a cruise ship, you can go on what's called shore excursions, which basically just means activities off the ship. And the ship will arrange it and all that sort of stuff. So all you have to do is buy the tickets and then meet at the time. And then you go on it. It's like a tour group kind of situation, right? So I did a few things. Of course, my mom always loves to do a whale watching one, so we saw some whales. Funny enough, the whale watching one, we only saw like 4 or 5 whales. Then, when we were going to Victoria, British Columbia, we saw like 8 whales. We saw more whales on the cruise ship as we were going towards Victoria than we did on the whale watching trip. Oh my goodness. So there was all of that. It was great. I loved it. I will say this much. To see Welsh and well, Welsh is Wales. It's nowhere near Alaska. Wait, I knew it. The taste of hair is European. No, it's not. No, it's not. I just know where Wales is, because I know geography. Maybe I should do a geography test one of these days. I want to do that for fun. Maybe we should do a stream of doing geography. Not doing like GeoGuessr or anything. No, not that. I just want to do like the like cool math geography test. Well, okay, to be fair, Russia stole Alaska and then sold it to America, but it didn't have the rights to sell it to America. So, in a way, Alaska kind of was sold illegally to America. It's not a total, yeah. They just kind of like took it. At least the good thing is that I didn't have to do currency exchange. Ugh. Sometimes that's a little bit harder. I've been on cruise ships to like European countries and we had to do currency exchanges because a lot of them didn't really use card. They used like, you know, cash and coin. So we had to change it. We had to exchange it. So I do have sometimes some coins from other parts of the world because we needed to exchange. We needed to exchange money. Sometimes most places will take American money because they might exchange it, or sometimes American money is worth more. So that's why some places don't exchange it. But I will say, I don't mind going to countries in languages I don't speak. I do try my best though. But my family is thinking about going on another cruise to Europe in like a few months' time. But that one's gonna be longer. That's a 2-week cruise. So I might have to take off an entire month for that. And I don't feel like taking off an entire month, you know? What part of Europe? I will just say that we end in Spain. I don't want to give exact details because I don't want people to go like, I know exactly which cruise you're going on. I don't want that. So I usually try and keep it vague up until like, you know, I try and make sure that no one knows when I'm traveling exactly. It's vague. Yeah, I know. I have been to France before. I've been to Germany. I've been to France. I've been to Belgium. Belgium, amazing chocolate, man. 10 out of 10. That's where you get your best chocolate. If you're a chocolate lover, you go to Belgium. As a chocolate lover myself, you go to Belgium. Again, this was like years ago. This was like a long time ago because I stopped cruising during my university years. So I haven't been on a cruise since about, well, before COVID. That just tells you how long ago. He looks at the bottom. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I know that a lot of people have some problems with cruises, but I think that cruises are really, really good. You can get 7-week cruises for pretty good prices. And I will say this much. If you do get seasick, definitely get a lower deck. So basically get like a window or a window cabin or something like that. Unless you're a heathen and you don't want to see the sun, then you can get an inside cabin. Inside cabins and window cabins are cheaper than that of balcony cabins. Balcony cabins means that you get a balcony, but because you get a nice balcony view, well, of course, it's gonna cost a little bit more. I think it costs for an Alaska cruise, I have to ask how much. I think it was about $6,000 per person. However, for $6,000, all food is included. I know to get it. Oh my gosh. But it definitely is a big price. But you also have to remember what you're kind of paying for, you know? Because technically it's like, you know, the nights that you would spend on a hotel or at a hotel, and then also all the food that's included. Now, this doesn't count towards specialty dining. So there is specialty dining. Specialty dining just means that you can get an appointment for dining at particular places. And these are like your higher end kind of food areas. But there is a free high-end dining area that you can go to. So there's still stuff that's free and available for everybody. Oh my... Oh my gosh. Tia trying to get on a cruise ship for free. But there are a lot of different types of cruises. So there's a lot of different nights, or like kind of... There's usually a 7-week or a 14-week. Some cruises do have also 3-day cruises. Most smaller cruise lines or more local cruise lines will have those. If anyone knows Carnival, Carnival does like 3-day cruises. So you can either do 3 days. You can do a week. Sometimes there's an 8 or a 9-day one. That usually could mean that it's a transatlantic kind of cruise. And then or forever. And then you can do transatlantic or trans-Pacific. So those cruises are also known as repositioning cruises. I know you're learning a lot about cruises today. Those are called repositioning cruises. Repositioning cruises are very interesting because you kind of have to see how everybody is transitioning. There might also be a transition period where some people some of the crew might be leaving because they have a certain amount of time that they work on the cruise ship. Sometimes it's 7 months on and then like 7 months on is 5 months off, because that's 12. Well, 7 months on, 4 months off, or something like that. It's like, it varies depending on where you're working, but you do have like a particular work schedule where you're on and off. So there might be some changes in crew when you have those really long transatlantic cruises or trans-Pacific cruises. Trans-Pacific cruises basically they usually are up in Alaska during the summertime, and then they kind of might also be in Hawaii during the summer, and then they move from the summer of Hawaii and Alaska down to Australia. So you cross the Pacific Ocean to go down to Australia, or you cross to go to Hawaii, because I don't know, maybe some people want to go to Hawaii in the wintertime. I don't know. And then the transatlantic one is going from either Florida or Texas, and they cross over and go to Europe. So that's kind of how it's set up. There's also, have you guys heard, this was like a while back. Have you guys heard of the World Cruise? It's a cruise that basically is 9 months, where you basically go on an entire trip around the world. Yeah, the Titanic. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Antonio Santa, you see the afterworld. Oh my gosh. No, this is a world cruise. This is a 9 months cruise that you go all the way around the world. You basically go around, I believe, depending on where you start, you have to, well, you either are going from Florida across to Europe, down Africa, around the bottom like of South Africa, then you come back around up to like India and China and Japan and like most of Asia, and then you cross over to I'm trying to remember geography. Hold on, I need to pull up a world map really quickly. I know some stuff, but the map helps. Oh yeah, and then you go to Australia, because I was like, I think it's Australia next. I didn't know for certain. Then you do Australia, then you do like some like Fiji and all the other little islands around there and Hawaii. And then you might go up to Alaska and then come down that coast area and then go up and then go down South America and then go around South America and come back up. So as you can see, it's a pretty big cruise. But the only thing is that the reason why they have to cruise like that, if they need to reposition anything, because it's mostly a big repositioning. That's what the World Cruise is. It's a giant repositioning. And most of these repositionings are because these are their big class ships. And these ships can't just go through the normal small channels that have been built. They can't do that. So they have to go around everything. And you might be wondering, what exactly are these big class ships? Go on Google right now and look up Oasis class Royal Caribbean. Those things are massive. They now have a new classification of ship that is bigger, called the Icon class. It's bigger than the Oasis. And I've been on an Oasis class. Those things are literally the size of a city. We talk about how cruise ships are basically hotels on the sea. Oasis class is a city on the sea. And I will say this much. At a particular time of day, it gets pretty busy pretty quickly. Galaxy class Star Trek. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's true, right? I mean, Star Trek. Star Trek got a lot of things there, you know? Well, to be fair, Star Trek and that particular ship was supposed to be for, like, deep space, like, investigations and things or something like that. There was, like, another one called, like, Voyager, I believe, that, like, had families and stuff on it. That was supposed to be even, like, deeper into the, like, the star galaxy or whatever. So they had, like, more things built for that of, like, families and stuff, which is really interesting. But the Galaxy class are the luxury ones. Ah, I see. Yeah, Oasis, I think, is pretty most cruises are pretty luxury, I would say. I wouldn't say all of them. I will say, though, one thing that I don't particularly like about cruises is kids on cruises. The good thing, though, is that they do have, like, places for kids, you know? It's for deep missions of science investigation. Oh! Well, thank you. Now I know that. Well, now I know. Thank you for that. Thank you. Now I know more Star Trek information that I can use. So yeah. But yeah, it's, cruising is definitely, I wouldn't say for everybody, because there are people that if you get motion sickness, you're probably gonna get seasickness, so it's not really fun when you're seasick. But I will tell you this much, the amount of people I saw wearing, like, seasick patches was a lot. Because the thing is that the seasick patches that you have to put are literally behind, right behind your ear, like around where your jaw connects to your ear. Like if you just like follow your jaw and then you see where your ear is, it's like right about there is where you have to put it. So if you're looking at people from behind, you can definitely tell when somebody has a patch on or not, because it's pretty noticeable. Even if they do match to your skin tone, it's pretty noticeable, right? And I will say, plenty of people go on cruises even though that they get seasick. So I will say, though, if you really want to figure out if you're going to get seasick or not, you can throw yourself off the deep end by just, like, getting in a boat and just going in, like, a little dinghy boat. And if you get seasick off of that, you're probably going to get seasick on a cruise ship. Because those ships have, like, the little boats, little dinghy, I like to call them, like, dinghies, but they're not really dinghies. But little ships and stuff like that are very, very rocky. And they have no stabilization to them. Basically, a lot of cruise ships do have a lot of stabilization to them. That just means that they don't rock too much. But that doesn't mean you can't have some rocking and a rolling. I call it rockin' and a rollin' because some of the ways of how it is or how it feels is kind of a little bit similar to earthquakes, but if they moved really slowly in slow motion. So because I'm already used to earthquakes and stuff, it wasn't really that difficult for me to get used to it. I know how to get someone seasick. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it was fun going on a cruise. It's been like years because every single time that my family wanted to go on a cruise, I had to say no because it was finals week of university. And most of my finals were presentation finals. So I couldn't just, do a rain check on it or something. No, I had to present in front of the class because I was an art student. I had to present my art and my work. So I had to physically be there and I had to present it. So unfortunately I couldn't do it. Now, I will say most of the time with cruises, you can get enrolled into their like loyalty program because some cruises have loyalty programs. If you do enroll in their loyalty program, you'll rack up points, and when you rack up points, you get perks. So the perk that my mom has, because she's higher than me, she's like one level higher than me, because she's done more cruises because I had to stay home. So she now gets like free laundry service. She gets, I think, a few other like little knickknacks and things that she can get. I do have like discount on laundry service. They allow you to do laundry on the thing. And that 29 cruise, one of my t-shirts. Ready for the work? I say yeah. Oh, 6. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but but you get a lot of cool like little perks and stuff, and sometimes they'll also give you like complimentary stuff. So because we were high enough, they actually gave us complimentary water. So like we got water bottles that we could bring off the ship with us to like, go on if we wanted to like go out and stuff like that. I will say though, do you want to know what I mostly did on the ship? Because a lot of people, when you're over the age of 21, you would think, drinking and all this sort of stuff. Well, you still had to pay for drinks. If you're gonna drink, you're gonna have to still pay for it. That you couldn't like get for free unless you paid for like a deluxe beverage package or something like that. If you got like the premium drink package, then yes, you didn't have to pay for your drinks because you basically paid for like a drink package. The thing is though, is that I just read. My mom and I would just find a place and we would read. And that's it. So that's pretty much what I did, is I just read. Maybe every once in a while I'd sketch something, but I didn't really do much drawing. I thought I would. But I actually finished reading 2 books on that cruise. And I started reading another one. I haven't finished that book because now I'm home and I'm like doing other things, so I haven't actually been able to read it. But I did finish 2 books. So I was like, good. I'm glad that I brought 4 books with me just in case. So yeah, I finished reading a lot of books really quickly. But
Art arrives to the bar and the bartender asks, "You are 30?" Art respond with southern accent, "Yay, I am of many husbandos, you sugar."
Yeah, that's me walking up to the bar on the cruise ship. Oh my gosh, a 5-stream watch streak. Let's go. Thank you for the I'm thinking about adding a community challenge of some sort, but I don't know what I want it to be yet. I have to figure that out. But you might be now wondering like what specific. I said like I went on a cruise, but I didn't really tell you exactly what I did besides reading. So there are times on
a breakdance challenge.
There are a lot of things to do on the cruise ship. There's a lot of activities and things that you can go to and sit in on or talk about or whatever, right? There's a lot of activities. There will usually be like a little daily activity thing that you can check and see what there is to do. There are some paid activities that you can also do, but for the most part, there's a lot of free activities that you can do as well. By the way, there is a casino on the ship as well. There are a lot of bars, there's shopping, there's again, it's like a city, okay? It's like a city on the water. So you're gonna have like little shopping areas. You're gonna have little dining areas. These are the specialty dining areas. You're gonna have you know, buffet up at the very top, but you're also gonna have okay, so this ship had 2 indoor pools. One indoor pool was the 18 plus pool. Now they call it the 18 plus pool. I would call it the 18 plus area. It does have its own name, but it's basically just an adult area. So it's like an adult pool. So it's like, you don't want the kids to be in here. You don't want the kids to be making cannonballs into the water. You go to this place. It's very chill, very much more relaxed.
If there is not white powder for the nose, is a bad cruise.
The cruise ship will kick you off if they do find white powder, just so you know. They will also kick you off if they find the devil's weed. They will kick you out for that. You cannot have any sort of illegal substances. Even if you say that the illegal substance is for medical use, you cannot have it on there. So there is that. They do have smoking areas, like designated smoking areas. There's 2. There's one in the casino.
You say, if they catch me, but they didn't say I can kill.
Oh my god, please do not get rid of the crew. Please do not get rid of the crew. They will notice really fast. But so there's a designated smoking area in the casino. That's like the smoking side of the casino. Then there's another one that's like up higher on like the open deck area. And that's like a little, and it's like a little section. It's not a huge section, but you cannot smoke anywhere else on the ship. If you do, they will probably have a talking with you, and you don't want the talking to, because everybody's going to talk about it, because everybody's going to know about it, because not only will the crew know, every single passenger will know. We are all on this ship together. Everybody will figure it out really quickly. So yeah. It's literally, we're all in this together, and we will know. So...
Nope, if I take them down in a very good plan, first I take the captain, then I take control of the cruise, I ruin the entire security system, then I make the cruise collide to a rock, and then I escape to international waters.
You're already in international waters on the cruise ship. That's why they can have the casino open basically almost all day, because they're in international waters. So besides the other things that go on, there's usually a theater, and the theater can play movies, but it can also
always can be more international.
But it can also do stage shows. So they usually do have some comedians that come on, or like different kinds of shows or acts that people come on and they do. So there's a lot of different things. I actually saw We Will Rock You, the music. It was a musical. And it's a Broadway musical that they brought on to the ship, and you know, made it for the ship. It was a 2-hour show, and I was like, I'm surprised that they didn't have an intermission in the middle of it. But you know, some people might end up leaving or going back to their cabins or getting drinks or something, so it was just like a solid whole show. They also had another small little production show that usually the cruise ship kind of like makes itself with their own like little theater troupes that they have, called The Gift.
I need the musical Cats in a cruise called Cats Water Show.
Funny enough, they did once have cats on there. So it wasn't on the particular cruise ship I was on. The cruise ship for us, we had, We Will Rock You, which, by the way, if you have not seen We Will Rock You, the musical show of it, I highly recommend, if it's in your area, to go and watch it, because as a person that grew up on like a lot of these rock classics and rock and roll classics, I knew every reference. I knew every single reference. And even my mom was like very much interested because, again, she grew up in this time period of rock and roll. Because if you don't understand, the entire premise of it is, I'm just going to put it in the most simplistic of terms. We Will Rock You, the musical, is basically placed in a future where we completely forget what rock and roll was. So all the things of rock and roll were completely erased from history, and there was only pop and like Gaga and all of that sort of stuff. Like, pop rock and pop stuff. Pop and like techno. There wasn't really much rock music or anything else. Like the grunge and the metal and love it all. So they didn't have all that. And then all of like the costumes is like very, very preppy style. And then, you didn't have much of the kind of more punk rocky grunge style, which I think that they did the costumes really well for punk rock and grunge and all of that. They did it really, really well. I liked all the costumes. All the characters are fun. There are some, I would say that it's, I would say there are some raunchy jokes in it, but it goes over kids' heads.
I love Cats the musical and Hadestown and River of Styx AD and the original Shrek the musical and Jesus Superstar and the Phantom of the Opera and Hemingway to Away and Beetlejuice and Epic the musical. In fact, I gonna do a musical of a persona that go to Paris and part of his mind become character. Meanwhile he walks to the streets seeing all the chances but also all the thing that can go bad.
Ooh, that's a kind of interesting concept. That's an interesting concept. But I will say this much, absolutely banger picks. Yeah, a lot of people shit on Cats, but Cats actually isn't that bad. I think the movie was awful, but the actual show production, masterpiece. Also, Hadestown, thank you. Someone finally acknowledges how good Hadestown is. I feel like Phantom of the Opera and Jesus Superstar. I know a lot of people dismiss Jesus Superstar because it is kind of like an interesting thing. Now, the funny thing about Jesus Superstar, they also have to understand. I don't know if it was Jesus Superstar or Joseph, the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I think the Technicolor Dreamcoat one was about a theater troupe. So it's like the whole entire story of that was like about a theater troupe. I don't know if it was that or if it was Jesus Superstar, because I think it was produced by or like created by the same person. That's why it's like they kind of have some similarities to it. But yeah, Jesus Superstar is really, really good. I know it's like, a lot of people don't like that has some religious aspects to it, but it's like, it's a really good musical as well. Like, really good songs and really good... It's just a good musical. I think it really encapsulates everything to do with the story of, like, who Jesus was, what he did, but also just really easily summarizing it and just having some banger music to go with it. Like, Jesus out here just, like, shredding some vocals, man. Phantom of the Opera, always a classic, I feel like it's a safe classic, but I feel that a lot of people don't appreciate it.
My musical gonna be called Eating Tuna Under the Moonlight. Also, the Cats 1998 is the best, but the movie is a piece of shit so bad that the creator of the musical need a psychological assistance dog for the trauma. In fact, once on a plane a guy asked him what the dog's motive was and he said, "Look at Cats 2016, and they let them through."
Oh my gosh. What the heck? You know what? That's why I have a dog. No. But yeah, love musicals out here. So, on a cruise ship, you can get those kind of really nice, interesting things. On the Oasis class, actually, we had a water show. So this is when, because the Oasis class ships are really, really big. So they can have a lot of different kind of, oh my gosh, oops. Daisy. Okay, well, I think that, oh, nope, there we go. Sorry, I'm like holding like a thing that has like a top on it. So, I thought that it was sealed forever and then I could never open it again. And I really kind of like this container. It's a little container for pills. There's nothing in it. But on the Oasis class ships, they do have this particular show area that was literally for like a water show. And that was cool. I feel like on the Oasis class, there was a lot more to do, but that's because it was like a 2-week cruise. So I feel like a lot of 2-week cruises, you're gonna be able to do a lot more because there's a lot more to do.
The only argument I agree with Cats is that the musical doesn't have a clear history mine, but to be fair, the creator of the musical say I also cannot do a direct line of history of a musical literally made and based on Cats Kappa Ross.
Yeah, I think even the concept of Cats was very interesting because it's literally cats. The characters are cats. Like, yeah, it's very interesting. I actually did some script writing in university. And I will tell you this much. I had a script that was, a lot of the scripts were about, they were for like little shows. So like we're talking like 10-minute theater shows, like 10-minute little skit shows, right? Something that you could probably do on Saturday Night Live like really quickly, right? Those are like the kind of style of, you could do that style if you wanted to. But one of them was a concept of there was like 3 people that had come into a particular place to get something, to get like a wish or something granted. I forget what it was. They wanted something. And there was one person that was like guarding over it. And he basically like asked them questions. And it turns out at the end of it, spoiler alert, at the end of it, all of them were not who they said that they were. So all of them were fake. And it just is the idea of we put on masks of ourselves, of what we wish that we want to be, but we're not that. Even though that we want to be that. And so sometimes living by your truth, even though that you say that you're living by a truth, you might be actually wearing a mask and you didn't even realize it. Yeah, pretty philosophical there. I had a lot of philosophical stuff. I gotta see if I can find anything. The one problem is that the program that I used for it, I can't do it because it's like a paid program, so I can't open the files at all. But hopefully I can be able to find some sort of way to be able to transfer them into Word documents, or maybe even they are PDF, so I can find it for you guys. But yeah, I did do a lot of writing classes because I liked writing. I actually minored in creative writing. That's what made my writing improve. It's also really helpful to write an actual script for a comic, so.
Many people say I have aptitudes of a history teller, but one day my musical eating tuna Under the Moonlight gonna be based on a guy and a girl see opportunities, but also in the chances are the characters and other possible failures, but I need to work more in the style because I like sad endings. Cool cat.
Yeah, you know what? I think that some musicals or even some theater productions, I think that people are too scared of doing sad endings anymore. Or unhappy endings. I think we need more of that when it comes to musicals. Just because I think that it would be good. I think it would be good. I think it would be, just good for writing in general. Because I think a lot of people are, you know, I would say tragedies, you know. Entire cast musical. Wow. Yeah. I like how we got into the topic of musicals just from the... Anyways, to circle back to the cruise ship. So yeah, there's a lot of activities you can do, and there's a lot of different musicals, and I think the musical kind of changes from time to time, so it's not always the same. They do change it every few months, just so that it's not the same all the time. So, I'm trying to think. There's also like another theater show that they also did, which was in another area, and they called this area 270. Now, 270 is a 270-degree panoramic view of the ocean, like all the panels. But not only that, apparently, all of the glass panels can be used to display, basically, you can make an entire scene with it. So you don't have to have a background or a backdrop or anything like that. You can just use... Okay. Have I been... I know I haven't been muted. I think I accidentally touched it and then like muted and then it unmuted. I'm gonna take this off because I don't know if it's actually, because my thing is colorful and the only way to know if it's on or not is if I take that thing off. Anyways, so there's a lot of cool things, and again, there's a lot of other little activities. There's like, you know, scavenger hunts, or there's other little like trivia stuff you can do, or you can do like learn how to dance, or, you know, there's a lot of other little things that you can learn, like do around the ship besides just sitting and doing nothing. But some people just like sitting, drinking, doing nothing much, you know, which is fair, you know, fair enough, man. So that's how most of them pretty much are. And then, let's talk about like going on shore. So you have a little card that basically is able to get you everywhere that you need to go. It's called, depending on the cruise ship, it's called your Sea Pass card, but it's basically like your hotel key, your credit card on the ship, and your identification. So they know who you are. They, you know, you can be able to get into your cabin, which is your room, and you can be able to buy things. That's basically what it is. That's what a Sea Pass card is. Oh. What the? Why does this work and sometimes not work? How much was it? Why does this work and sometimes not work? What the heck? Oh, I have to wait until the cooldown is over. What? I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I don't know why it works. Why sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. Here, let's try. Let me check something. Maybe it's not... I know I wrote it correctly. Sometimes it can literally be because it's not spelled right. Yeah, it's called throw 100 items. It's on. What? Wait a minute. Does this have to be on? I hope that's not the case. Let's try. Hello? That's weird. Well, you know what? You know what I gotta do? Sometimes you just gotta turn it off and you gotta turn it back on again. Sometimes it just needs to be turned off and turned back on again. And maybe it'll work. Who knows? Oh, there we go. It says it's loading up. Let's see. Does it do that thing? Does it do that thing I need to do? There we go. Connections. It says it's all connected. So I'm gonna try and throw a yippee. Okay, now it works. See, sometimes you just gotta turn it off and turn it back on again. The epitome of technology. Whenever anybody asks me, did you turn it off and on again? I just go, yeah, I did. That's what I always do. That's what I always try and do. Do I use it all the time? No. Do I try to? Yes. I think the reason being is because I accidentally pushed on the button twice, so it opened up 2 instances of it. So one must have overridden the other, and then it ended up not working. That makes sense to me. Anyways. So, let's talk about going on shore and seeing things. So, like, you know, taking this lovely, beautiful picture, right? So, going on shore, you have this sea pass, and you have to scan it, because this is how they know if you're on the ship or not. And by the way, a lot of people think that, oh, they won't leave without you. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. The ship has a schedule to keep up. They will and can leave without you. If you're not there, you're not there. They're leaving. So, most of the time, when you're on sightseeing things or doing shore excursions, there's much more of a likelihood that they will make sure to get you back on time. So you don't really have to worry completely about being back in time. So some of the things that I did when going on some shore excursions, because we only went to 3 ports. So the first port that we went to was Juneau. And in Juneau, I believe, actually, let me go and check. I think I have the stuff. I can like check what it was. Hold on a minute. I literally have all the tickets still. So let me just go through it. So when we were in Juneau, we went whale watching. So let me actually pull up. Let me get some whales. Let me get some whales up here. Let me get my whales. So the first thing that we actually did is, let me get a clearer picture of this. There we go. We actually saw this. Now everybody wondering, what is this? That is a glacier. There are a lot of glaciers in Alaska, And all that a glacier is snow packed on top of each other. That's literally it. And the pressure creates a glacier. So, oh my god, no, there's no weapon that can technically destroy me.
A devotee has rejoined the sub gang.
Yeah. Thank you for the resub, Jose. I like everyone doing their little dance. So the first thing that we went to is the Mendenhall Glacier, and then we did whale watching, but also like other wildlife like watching stuff. So this is the Mendenhall Glacier. Now this glacier has been melting a lot, like a lot of glaciers in Alaska. A lot of them have been melting and very much receding because of everything. But this entire area and all the rocks and the mountains that you see around here was created by the glacier. The glacier literally carved out this valley by all the pressure of the snow pushing it for hundreds and thousands of years. And now it is receding. So that is the first thing that we saw, was the Mendenhall Glacier, which was really, really fun. They had a little area and all of that sort of nice stuff. And you could walk all the way there. So let me just actually get some, like I so let me just like see if I can get a wider picture of everything. Here we go. There we go. So you can see a little waterfall over here, a really big one. That's called Nugget Falls. Yes, it's called Nugget Falls. But if you look in front and like in the foreground, you'll see some rocks here, but you'll see some scratches in the rocks. That is how far the glacier used to be. So the glacier used to be touching where I was. I was standing where the glacier once was. This entire lake is probably mostly filled up with glacier water. So yeah, really cool. So most of this valley and most of the mountains around here have probably been carved out by that of the glacier itself, hundreds and thousands of years ago, and then it slowly started melting. Glaciers normally do melt. However, because of global warming, they have been melting a lot faster. They should not be melting as fast as they are. There is more melting going on than ice being put back on. So there's more melting of the snow than there is snow being on top of the glacier. Because in order for the glacier to replenish itself constantly, it needs to keep having snow being packed on top of each other to make it. Now, the other thing is about a glacier is, have you ever wondered why glaciers are blue? Glaciers are blue because of light waves. When the light hits the glacier, colors, very high frequency waves are the only ones that are able to penetrate, which is going to be blue. Colors like blue. Red, however, is a very low wavelength. So red, yellows, oranges, those fall off. But blue doesn't. So that's why a lot of glaciers and glacier ice that you'll see, or icebergs in the water, are all blue. It's because it's literally also color theory. And I literally went to a talk about glaciers, and I was like, you know what's so funny? I'm an artist. I already know this. we already know color theory. It's our job to. Well, you don't have to really completely know color theory in order to understand everything. So yeah, that was really fun. So we went to the glacier, and then we went and we saw some wildlife. So they're really hard to see because unfortunately they were very far away, okay? These are stellar sea lions. So let me get up still. There we go. I actually spelled it correctly. So stellar sea lions are not the same as California sea lions. They are definitely a lot bigger. I will tell you that much. They need to be bigger and have a lot of blubber because it's cold. The water is cold in Alaska. So you gotta have some more fat on you, you know? But these little guys were just chilling up there, chilling out on the water. Someone had called them a seal, and my mother and I both corrected them, and we were like, no, they are sea lions. Sea lions and seals are not the same. They do have some sort of linked history, but they are not the same species. Seals cannot mate with sea lions. That's how you really know if they're the same species. If they can mate, same species. Can't mate, not the same species anymore. Biology facts with art. I know something bigger. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so we saw a lot of sea lions. A lot of stellar sea lions. And yes, it is spelled exactly how you think it is. And then we finally saw some whales. So there's a lot of other ships that were around because of course there's a bunch of whale watching things happening. You know, there was a few. I believe that there was another cruise ship also in port at the time. So there's two big ships. So we saw a lot of whales. So the whales that we mainly saw were that of humpback whales. Here, I'll get a better picture. This is a more closer picture. This one came like really close to the boat. These are humpback whales. Humpback whales come up here to Alaska and feed. They feed here and then they go down to warmer weather like in San Diego or in Hawaii, and they have their babies. But they don't eat down there. They only eat up in Alaska. So you're never gonna really see them eating too much. Here's their back fin, or their dorsal fin. It's a very small dorsal fin, but it's a way that you can definitely tell that it's a humpback whale. If it's not very big, it's probably a humpback whale. Where is the picture of its tail? I don't even know. I kind of got a tail picture, but not really. I'll get this one. There was two of them. So mostly in Alaska, you're gonna get a few different kinds of whales. I would say that mostly what you're gonna get is you're gonna get orcas and you're gonna get humpback. Now, of course, this is only during the summertime that you're gonna get the humpback whales. During the wintertime, they head on down to the south and they have their babies in warmer weather. So yeah. Or is it the other way around? Do they have them in the summer? Hold on. I need to remember. When do whales move? Oh, interesting. Okay. But yeah. Now, these are the whales that do the breaching. So if you've ever seen a whale breach out of the water, these are the whales that do it. A lot of the time, it's usually the younger ones, the babies. Or, the young, just, they're out of calf phase and probably are doing other stuff. So there's them. And I will say that besides them, there is also, of course, the bigger adults that probably will also breach, but it's very rare that they do. And again, most of the time, these whales just come up here, they eat, then they go down south, have their babies, and come back. The one thing is trying to grow their babies to be adults, because they do have to deal with the orcas. So, and the orcas are the apex predators. They eat everything. Doesn't matter what you are, they will eat you. So you have to be careful with orcas. And with orcas in particular, not only are they apex predators, but there are orcas that do live year-round up in Alaska. You've probably seen some nature documentaries of different kinds of orcas probably working together to hunt seals or hunt other different animals and creatures. And yeah, those are probably the orcas that stay up there. But there's some orcas that are transient. That just means that they kind of just come on through, eat a little bit, and go away. I would say that there are your ideas of lone wolves. But apparently, orcas that stay in Alaska do have their own communities, but also have their own languages. Yes, orcas have languages. And even most whales probably do have some sort of language or way that they talk to each other. Now, there was also a little bit that I did see some dolphins as well, but I didn't get any pictures of them, so that was sad. But there are some dolphins that also live up in Alaska as well. So yeah. So that was in Juneau. The next place that we went to was Skagway. So we went to Skagway. No, not those pictures. I will bring this picture up. And in Skagway, what was good is that we actually had here we go. We had a later time for it. So the whale watching stuff we had to do like early in the morning, or well, kind of in the afternoon, because we didn't get into port until the afternoon. So we ate lunch and then we ran on down to where we needed to meet. But the other one was like later in the day, and we got into port really early. So I decided to go and walk around town, because they had like a way that you could just walk off and walk into town, which was nice. So I walked into town, kind of walked around a little bit. Just kind of, they have a lot of, I would say, older architecture. You know, definitely like, we're talking, you know, when they came mining for gold, or like panning for gold, those homes have not changed since then. That's what we're talking about. So it's a very historical area that they have kept alive. And also, I will say, Alaska is the main area of where the gold rush really, really took off, because there was a lot of gold in them hills. So even though that a lot of people say like California was really where it happened, I would say that California was a place, but it didn't have a lot of gold. There was gold, it just wasn't as much as people thought it was. But Alaska, there's still a lot of gold in them hills. So there's a lot more stuff up there. Especially, you never know what's hidden inside of glaciers. So it could be coming even from the glaciers themselves. So when I was in Skagway, there's a nice little harbor seal eating his breakfast. Because the way of where you were walking, you had to walk on this really, really long pier to get to where you needed to go. And there was just a seal chilling out. So, and I was like, what is everyone looking at? Looked over the edge, saw a harbor seal, and I was like, oh, he's got a big giant fish in his mouth. And of course, I was just walking alone around here, so my mom was back up in the cabin and on the ship, so she wasn't with me. So I was like, I'm gonna take a picture of this because it's really cute. My mom might like it. So that's what I was thinking. So I took the picture. There was other places in Skagway, so I'm gonna pull up this. This is of the main area, or like kind of the main street. And as you can see by the architecture, there was a lot of the National Forest Service. There's a lot of little museums and things like that around here. There was one museum that I had walked into, uh, and it was a museum that was kind of showing off some ways of how they did art, and I was like kind of interested in it. And then I guess somebody was like confused about like what it was, so I had to explain it to them, like what it was that the person was doing, because I knew what it was. It was a way of how they etched into animal bone. So I was explaining like how they were doing it. The other thing is it kind of looked like a tattoo maker if you thought about it, and in a really unique way. I didn't have any pictures from that because they said like no photography, all that sort of stuff. So I respected the signs. No photography. Oh, okay. Well, now I know that an ad warning is coming up. At least thanks for me and my ad warnings, because my ads manager is broken. I don't know when ads are coming up. I don't know. I think I broke it. At least the pop-ups let me know. So in 5 minutes we're gonna get ads. So anyways, I was in Skagway and I was talking with these people and they're like, "Oh, are you a local?" I'm like, "No, I just know stuff." But also I'm an artist, so it was pretty easy to figure out what it was being used for. Now I will say this much. They could have read the sign and realized what it was. So, yeah. I'll tell you this much, they were older, but at the end of the day, it was just a fun conversation, just talking with people. But I just wanted to walk around because they had a little museum area, and I was like, oh, a little museum, let me go and look at what this was. And then I walked out, of the museum. But there was a lot of little museums and National Forest Service. Now, if you walked down the street, so this street in particular, if you're walking not up and down vertically, but walking horizontally, I was walking horizontally. If you walk down the street, there is a historical brothel. Okay, it's not in use as an actual brothel. Let's clarify that. It was, but they still keep it in business in the sense of showing it and helping people understand the history of what this brothel was. Because this was a mining town. So this particular town, people would come into Skagway and then they would set up their little places here and then they would go up into the mountains. You can't see them because it was really, really foggy. It had been really, really foggy and cloudy. We had literally no sun for days. So you can't see the mountains now, but there are mountains, and when you go up into the mountains, there's gold in them there mountains. Or there was, because most of the miners mined it up. So I walked around a little bit, and then I went back, because I just wanted to look around at all the different stuff. And I will say, it was hecka busy. Like, there was a lot of people. It was pretty damn busy. I was surprised how busy it was, because I didn't think that people would be out here, like, at this time, because it was kind of early. Because they had just put down, they had just, like, made it that we were able to get off the ship, so it's pretty early, and I was surprised that a lot of people were out and about. But, I don't know. It's just how it is. Anyways, so we then ended up going, I might not show these pictures off out of the safety for the workers. But Skagway is also known for something else, which is it's railway. So yes, there was trains. Yes, autism people, jingle jingle. There were trains. So this is some of the trains. I did take a picture with the train, but I'm not going to show that picture because it's of my face. So, but we had trains. So there's trains. This was one of the trains. There was another train, but this was a steam locomotive that, of course, they just have this placed, but they do have another train. There actually is a railway right behind these trains. There is an actual railway that is still used. Trains. Yeah. See, I knew. There's a reason I have the yippee emote. So they did have trains. We didn't end up going on the train. Though my mom was like, you know, we could have gone on the trains. And I was like, I kind of feel if we ever go back there again, we'll go on the train. I think we have been on the train beforehand. But yeah, let me see. So anyways, then it was time for us to go to, this is called a Mushers Camp and S'mores Roasting. Basically, we got to see sled dogs, and we got to make some s'mores. That was basically it. So when we had gone up here, let me open this one. When we had gone up here, there was a river, and this river had salmon in it, because it was a salmon run. So, let me actually just snooze it again. So, this is the salmon run. And I don't know if you can see it, but let me blow this up a little bit. There are some dead salmon. There are some dead salmon. But if you can see, some of these salmon have white on them. So, when salmon are exposed to oxygen, they start turning white. Or at least their scales start turning white. So a lot of these salmon have come up very, very far to have a nice day and then promptly die. Not all of these salmon will ever get to possibly pass on their genetic material, which is sad, but their bodies will be able to feed the wildlife and to be able to be nutritious for the greens, the green area all around here. So yeah, kind of sad, but it's the circle of life, my guy. So the river was pretty nice and actually went up into the hills and the mountains, and there was this like nice old bridge, and just the way of how the scenery was, it was just like so beautiful. You'll notice I take a lot of photography photos. Yeah, I do. So this was very, very nice, very beautiful, right? But then we got to see some sled dogs. So we got to see some sled dogs. These are Alaskan Huskies. Now, Alaskan Huskies are basically, I would like to call them a mutt breed. They're basically a bunch of breeds that were all bred together to make the breed of an Alaskan Husky. Now, what exactly is an Alaskan Husky? They're mostly a lot leaner than most Huskies that you would think of. Siberian Huskies used to be, musher dogs. And the reason that they're probably still called Huskies is because of the Husky breed. Balto? Yeah, Balto, yeah. We're talking about, like, Balto here. So... Now, not every single Alaskan Husky is gonna be an actual musher dog. There are certain quorums and requirements that could be met in order for them to be husky dog, or in order for them to be musher dogs. Now, they don't use sled dogs or musher dogs for messaging and travel as much. There are still places that do use them for that of communication and travel, but nowadays it's more of a sport. So sled dog racing is now more of a sport up in Alaska. So most of these dogs are bred for that of sport, to be pretty good athletes. They're basically bred to be athletes. This wheel that one of the dogs is on, this is to get them comfortable running next to other dogs, because you're going to be running next to your buddy, and you got to be comfortable being able to run at the speed that you are and with a buddy next to you. So you have to be very, very comfortable, and you can't be nipping or hurting the other dogs. So they do this in a sense of training. But, They got a lot of stamina. They do have double coats, but you'll also notice something else about them that I do want to point out that I think a lot of them don't really point out. Their paws are very big. They have very big paws. For dogs that don't weigh a whole lot, they have pretty big paws. Now, well, they do weigh a lot. They can weigh a lot because most of them are very muscular, but they do have pretty big paws. Now, their big paws is because it's snowy. They're going to need to trudge through snow. So having big paws is able to evenly distribute their weight so that they don't sink into the snow. So it's a lot better for them. Oh my gosh. Oh, it didn't change. Have you guys been able to see the different pictures? Or have I been just talking to myself? I hope that you've actually been able to see all the picture changes. Yes, we saw them. Okay, good. All right. Now, outside of these guys, gaslights aren't. Huh? Didn't see anything. You could have gaslit me. You had an opportunity here. All right. So there is a little waterfall that we also did see as well. There's like a little waterfall hike. It was a very small hike, but it still did a lot on my mom. I felt bad for her. A lot of the places was very sharp inclines, and my mom was not. She can walk. She just, you know, she's a little slow, so she needs some help and some balancing. So, but we did get to see some really nice waterfalls. And this, I have shown this waterfall because it was the picture I showed you with all the trees, because there's no topsoil. It's just rock, moss, and trees. So, also, fun fact, lichen grows here abundantly. You can kind of see on the tree here, the tree that's in front of us, like right here. So let me just, the tree right here, you can see the green stuff. That's lichen. That's not moss, that's lichen. Lichen only grows in non-polluted areas. So if the area isn't too polluted, it grows. So if there isn't lichen on any of the trees, it's probably still very polluted. Nothing like a werewolf. 0 out of 10. Oh my gosh. So lichen is also called old man's beard or wizard beard, or like, you know, old man's beard, because the lichen will sometimes grow and can continue to grow out, and it's called old man's beard. So if you've ever heard witches or people with Wicca say old man's beard, like a bit of old man's beard, they're probably talking about lichen. So yeah, it's fun things. So we finally ended our little journey, and finally, we got blue sky. We could finally see the sky. We got back to the cruise ship and we finally got to see the sky. By the way, the s'mores making was over an open flame, and that was good. We had some good ass s'mores. It was pretty much like typical s'mores that you could make at home, but you know, it was fun with an actual fire, because you know, we can't have fires here where I live, so we can't actually have an open fire. So it was nice to actually make marshmallows on an actual fire or campfire. And it was quite warm considering it was quite cold. So but we got back and we finally could start seeing blue skies. It was so nice. I loved it that we could finally see some blue skies. So yeah. And I did take some other like scenery pictures of us leaving Skagway, and we could finally see the tops of the mountains and look at all those snow-capped peaks. Aren't they beautiful? Beautiful snow-capped peaks. And then we had the big one. So it was early morning as the sun rose. We had to be up early. And the reason being is because we were gonna go and see, I believe it was Dawes Glacier. Let me just make sure. I think it was Dawes. Yeah, Dawes Glacier. So Dawes Glacier is, of course, a glacier that touches the water. And a lot of cruise ships go up into this particular fjord. Okay, we got 5 minutes. Okay, so they go up into this particular fjord, and you can be able to see the ice, like, flaking, the ice of the glacier flaking off and falling into the water. Now, our cruise ship was a little too big to get too close, because the thing is that we needed to be able to do a 360-degree turn, and we couldn't get too extremely close because the ship was too big and we needed to do a 360-degree turn. So I believe if we were on a smaller cruise ship, we probably could get pretty close. But I was able to go out and get some pretty nice pictures. This was one of them. The sun was out. The sky was clear. We finally were able to have clear skies. It was so beautiful. So I took that picture because I just saw it. It was the perfect moment. I was taking pictures of the mountains, and then as we went by, the sun just capped over the mountain just at a perfect angle, and I took a picture. That's how photography is, boys. You just gotta get it at the right time. So there are some other beautiful pictures, and as you can see in the water, there was some icebergs. I know, the iceberg. Iceberg and I'm on a cruise ship. Two words that should not be together. They bring on a person to make sure that they avoid the icebergs. So, yeah. Also, the god rays in this picture, mwah. By the way, I just took these pictures with my phone. These are all pictures I took with my phone. Nothing big. I do eventually want to get something better. Tell me like one of your French girls. I know, right? That's literally what it was. But the water was so clear and so clean that I was just able to take a picture. Also, I didn't realize this until taking this photo. I believe that is a glacier. That is a glacier up there on those on that mountain. I told my mom that I think it's building a glacier, and she was like, I think it's just a glacier receding. So, I don't know. It is what it is. But yeah, when we were coming back, I realized that that was a glacier, because now it was more sunny out, so I could see that it was a glacier. But yeah, funny enough, I took a picture of a hidden glacier. I just thought it was some pretty snow up there. And then we finally got to the big boy himself. We got to the Dawes Glacier. Now, hold on. You can't really see the glacier too well in this picture. Don't worry. We'll get there. Oh, now it finally has fixed that. The ads manager fixed itself. Thank goodness. But as you can see, there's a bunch of icebergs in the water. These are little icebergs. They're not massive ones. They're not really, really big. So let me take this picture. So there's the Dawes Glacier. You can kind of see it in the nooks and crannies of the mountains. It had basically made this entire fjord that we were in. So that little itty bitty glacier made this entire fjord. All the mountains, all the rocks, everything that you see was made by this glacier. Also, the sun was giving some nice god rays. The sun was like, hello, I'm here. So here's another picture. I did post this picture, I believe. So yeah, we got to see some very, very, very nice pictures. We got some really nice pictures. And then It was so clear at night that you could see the stars. Now, this was inside of my cabin, so this is not really nice. But the two other little black or little white specks that you see, so the main speck that you see, that's the moon. That's the big moon. But the two little ones, those were planets. It was clear enough that you could see all the stars in the sky, and you could see the planets really, really clearly. Now, an ad is going to play. So what I might do is get up and do some stretches and take a little break. Or I can just sit here. But yeah, so there was a lot of cool little things that was just happening. Honestly, if it wasn't too cold, I probably would have walked up onto the deck and actually like looked out at the night sky just to get some pictures of the night sky. Also, the way I had to take the glacier photos was funny. So let me pull up the glacier photos. I'll talk about this story in a second about the glacier pictures, because it was really funny and it was really cold and my face was blue. I was turning blue. So I'm gonna let the ad go for its 3 minutes. And while the ads are going, we'll talk about some other stuff. Well, there's not really much to talk about because basically I don't wanna be talking about stuff that, you know, I don't want to take away from other people's enjoyment of my talking conversations. Oh, but I will say though is if you are in well, it's hard to think about what to play, what to talk about when the ads are going, because like, you know, you don't want the story to be interrupted and you want people to be able to engage. Oh, I will say this much. If you haven't checked it out already, you should check out my other social medias for other things, because I'm going to be posting up more art and things. I'll be saying this later on, so don't worry about it. But also, don't forget to check out our Discord community if you want to join it and have fun and all that sort of stuff. I do want to eventually do community movie nights, and especially with Halloween coming up, we might do some community nights, watching some Halloween movies. We'll watch one movie a week leading up to Halloween, and then we'll watch one on Halloween. If people come, they come. If they don't, well, I'll just enjoy the movie myself. And yeah. And then, trying to think. You can also just check out other social medias for a lot of other stuff. Working on a lot of stuff. I've been doing a lot of art. I've been doing good. I've been making a lot of art recently. Been reeling on a art train recently, so we might have a few streams of me just doing art. But yeah. Oh, also, I just realized this is the first time I think you guys have seen the new model with the blue earrings instead of the green, because we changed things around. Okay, there's 20 seconds. It says 20 seconds left. 20 seconds. 20 more seconds, or I don't have to be into insanity. I know that a lot of my community is not part of the sub gang, so I just always want to make sure that I never we don't interrupt a bunch of people, you know. Hello, I hope that everybody is back from ads. I hope that your ads were good and enjoyable and even maybe a little bit strange, because that's how it is here. Anyways, I was going to talk about my glacier story, about how I took these pictures. I did not talk about that. So, if you are coming into this, you didn't miss a thing. So, glacier story. So basically, it was cold. We were still moving. So the wind was whipping through my hair, and I was cold as shit. Now, the thing is, it was trying to figure out where I could be on the ship, where I could still get warm and heated up, and not be completely cold. So I picked the solarium. That's what the 18 plus pool is called. It's called the solarium. So I went out on, so apparently in the solarium, there is 2 outside balconies. There's one on each side. So when I had discovered that, because I saw some people on one side and I was like, oh, is there one on the other side? There is one on the other side. So I went on the other side. And basically, you could go out there and be able to view the glacier thing. Now, some people had some pretty cool ideas. There were literally people sitting in the jacuzzi as we were looking at it, because the solarium is at the front of the ship. This is at the very front of the ship, but it's also at the highest point of the ship. So not only am I at a really high point, but I'm also at the front of the ship. So I don't have a bunch of people, like, taking stuff. Now, the thing is, there's a lot of people with their cameras in front, right? So how are you going to take really clean pictures? You sit. So I sat down on the ground. And the thing is, this area did have glass, but there was a gap between the glass. But the glass didn't go all the way to the bottom. So, not only did I have to deal with just a little peak of wind coming towards me, no, I had to deal with the entire thing underneath also blowing me in the face with cold wind. Because the wind came down the mountains, off the glacier, which is solid ice, cooled even further with the water, and went into my face. It was cold. And the reason I picked the solarium area is because, at least with the solarium, I can be able to go back into a warm area and not become too extremely cold, right? So I can be able to get into a warm area and then come back out. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Peak. So that's how I did it. And I basically did it in between the little spaces of the glass to be able to take clean pictures. So that's how we got the pictures. It was not fun, but at least I got to take pictures of the glacier. Now, the last port of call that we went to was Canada. Yes, we went to Canada. That was the last place that we went to. It was Victoria, British Columbia. Now, my mom was trying to figure out the weather in Canada. But the thing is, she was putting Victoria, Canada. And I was like, Mom, I figured out why you couldn't put in Victoria, Canada. And it kept saying that that place didn't exist. It's because you had to put in Victoria, British Columbia. And she was like, I was like, I know. It's like, can't I just put in Canada, please? But no, you had to do British Columbia. So yeah. I didn't realize this. There's a person's finger. That is not my hand. This is not my hand. That is somebody else's hand. Oh, I doxed somebody with their hand. Uh-oh. No, joking. Actually, they have really nice nail polish. They got their nails done. Damn. Slay queen. But we went to Canada. Victoria, Canada is known as the city of flowers. They have a lot of flowers, a lot of pretty flowers. They are in kind of a cold climate, but it's not too cold and it's not too hot, so it gets to a very nice temperament climate. Now, Victoria, British Columbia is actually on an island, so the only way to get there is either by plane, or like seaplane, or by boat. Now, the thing with seaplanes is that their airport is all seaplanes. So Victoria, British Columbia is the only place where they can say that there are whales on the runway. Yeah, just imagine for a second that you just get that all of a sudden. Also, by the way, when we were in Skagway, have you guys ever heard of the there was a story that was published years ago. I remember hearing about it. There was a plane, a Boeing 737 that had taken off in, I believe it was Anchorage. So it was in like a bigger airport and had taken off. And there was an eagle. The eagle had two options. Now this was a female eagle. The eagle had two options. Either one, get hit by the plane and die. Or two, drop the fish they were carrying so they could fly away faster. What do you think they did? Well, they were a female eagle. They were smart. They dropped the fish. The fish... smack! Did a fish just hit the front of the plane? They didn't know for certain, but whenever you had a hit collision, you have to call it in. And they had to say that they got hit by a fish and they were thinking that it was possibly a salmon. A salmon had hit the front of a Boeing 737. No one believed them, so they landed, and they landed in Skagway, I believe. They landed, or they didn't land in Skagway, but they landed somewhere. They landed, and they were like, looked, and they found fish scales and guts and everything, and they were like, yep, a fish did hit you, and it was, in fact, a salmon. So, that's a funny little thing. Alaska, the only place where a plane can actually get hit with a salmon. Birds, common occurrence. Salmons, nah, that's different. But yeah, British Columbia, apparently here, you have to worry about whales on the runway, so gotta always look out for them. I believe that this was, this particular building that I'm showing off here, is one of their government buildings. I don't remember which government building, but what Victoria, British Columbia is mainly known for is their crowning star, their crowning hotel, the Empress. And I'm like, I told my mom when we had gotten like back onto because it was a hop on, hop off bus. So you could hop on, hop off, whenever you needed to, whatever. We kind of just stayed on the entire sightseeing tour because we were kind of really tired. But the Empress is a very big, but a very classic hotel. Like, we're talking like this furniture has not been changed since they built it. But also I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to know how expensive it is to stay one night here. And she looked at me and she's like, I don't want to know either. Because we actually walked into it. Because my mom had to go to the bathroom. So this is the interior of, or at least one of the interiors of the area. Now this area in particular, actually, if you walked into it and you walked up to the grandfather clock, there was no way to turn left, you had to turn right. And if you walked right, there was a bunch of shops. So there was a bunch of shops just kind of selling stuff. But if you kept walking further, you would go into the greenhouse. So there was a bunch of like plants and greenery in there. It was beautiful. Very like classic, I would say British colonial kind of way, or like very Victorian British colonial, right? So there's that. And then we also saw a cathedral. Now, we just like parked in front of it. I actually kind of wanted to go inside, but you know, we didn't want to like miss anything. So here's the cathedral. It's a very old cathedral. It burned down once, and then they had to rebuild it. But it was during the time when they were building it. So, you know, they didn't have to rebuild much. But apparently, they ran out of money to build it. So it's not as big as it was supposed to be. But yeah, that's the cathedral. Pretty nice. Pretty beautiful cathedral. Kind of reminds me of the Notre Dame Cathedral when I went to Paris. Yes, I did see the Notre Dame Cathedral. Funny enough, when I had went to see the Notre Dame Cathedral, the year later, it burned down. Yeah. So that was fun. You know, I'm gonna leave it off with this. This is my doggo. Her picture accidentally got put into this folder. I don't know why. It was an accident. She wasn't supposed to be in this. That's my Puperinos. So after we left Victoria, we went, we had left from Seattle. So we went back to Seattle, and then that's when you do your disembarking. I will say this much. Disembarking and embarking are absolute hell. Disembarking is worse. The reason being, so you were basically given, I don't have it here, you were given, 2 options with disembarking. There are sometimes shore excursions that you can do. So if you have like a really late flight, you can do a shore excursions, and it will drop you off at the airport at the end. Or, you can do a walk off, which just means that you are not being assisted with your luggage. So you're walking off with your luggage, and you can walk off as soon as the gateway opens. You can just, or the gangway opens to let you off. You can just go off almost instantaneously. We had an assigned time because we went for luggage assistance. Most people will go with luggage assistance. Now, luggage assistance, they basically say, hey, you are in group number whatever, and then they give you a number. Depending on that number is when you are going to get off of the ship. Now, they did say that they wanted everybody out of the rooms at 8 o'clock. So we had to be out of there at 8. However, we were also going to be leaving at about 8:10. So it's like, oh, okay, so it coincides pretty well. So we basically, they have an area where you're supposed to go and sit, and then they'll call off the numbers of who's able to leave. Now, do people abide by it? Do you think people abide by the numbers and it being called off at certain times to go off? No. No, they don't. So, there were a lot of people trying to get stuff that they were not supposed to be off yet. So, when you disembark, you go to wherever the number is, because that's where your luggage will be. Your number coincides with the luggage. So you go, you get your luggage, and then you walk out. Now, if you are in an area, like let's say that you're in another country, you probably will have to go through customs. Because most of the people that were coming on were that of American citizens, we didn't have to go through customs. Some places do have you go through customs, some places don't have you go through customs. But because this was the area that you had gotten on, and it was the area that you're getting off, so we had left from Seattle and we're coming back from in Seattle. If we had gotten off in, let's say like we got off in like a different country, so we got off in Canada, then yes, we would have to go through customs. But because we don't need to go through we didn't need to go through customs, this process was a lot easier, but you did need to still show your passport. So thankfully my mom and I had our passports out really quickly and just were able to walk off really quickly and get onto the ship. But we had gotten to the airport 4 hours early, which was annoying, but at least we were at the airport. So, but our flight kept getting delayed. It got delayed twice. So instead of getting on when we were supposed to get on, we got on an hour later, which I guess the delay wasn't that bad. But then we got home. It was a really long day. Because we had to get food, we had to do this, we had to do that. It took forever for us to get to our car. I hate like doing like traveling where you're having to actually actively travel. Cause damn, that stresses me out like so much more. But yeah. So we got through all of that and we got home. We got our pupperinos the same day that we got home. And then we went home and we went to bed. We were like so tired. We didn't get home until like 10 o'clock at night. We were up at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we got to bed at 11 o'clock. It was tiring. So that's pretty much how it's been. This picture I took on Sunday actually. So this wasn't the day I had come back. I came back on Friday. Because the cruise was a Friday to Friday cruise. So you got on Friday. Now, getting on the ship is also kind of another nightmare unto itself. Because, you know, you have to drop your bags off, whatever. Once your bags get taken, it's pretty much all clear. But then, you know, you have to wait in the line of people. Now, you do also have to have your passport. And you have to have your passport out the entire time. But then once you're on the ship, you're on the ship. Which is really nice. So, yeah. That was great. I will say, one thing that did upset my mother is she wanted to know when prime rib night was. Sad thing for my mother, prime rib night was day 1. She didn't know that the main dining room, the fancy dining room that's free, was open. She didn't think it was open. And apparently it was. And she was very sad that she had never gotten her prime rib. But you know what I did get? I did get my lamb. So, they had a lamb shank, and sometimes I do like lamb. And lamb is like, you know, I can't normally order or afford lamb, so being able to have lamb is like just, so great. It's either that or, you know, you go to, you know a friend who is able to make lamb dishes, and then it's like, you got lamb. So yeah. So that was the funness of my trip. I had a lot of fun. I don't know if I'll go on another cruise that's happening next year. I don't know if I'll join them because it kind of depends. My mom says I have a few more months to really think about it. It will be 2 weeks though. I'll be gone for an even longer amount of time. So just keep that in mind. Like, I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and then it'll be, like, 3... Yeah. I'll tell you this much, though. If I do land in Spain, I know that the coming home is gonna be just, like, a red-eye flight of some sort. I'm gonna be tired. Absolutely freaking tired. But yeah. But I will say, if you ever thought about going to a lot of places, like, look into cruising. Cruising is very expensive. I will tell you this much. Cruising definitely is very, very expensive. But you're able to go to more places within the same amount of time that you could by taking a week off. So instead of going to one place and just being in one place, you could be able to go to a bunch of different places. So that's what I kind of like about it, is that you can go to a lot of different places. And I will say this much, after cruising and doing a lot of cruises, I feel like I found what I like to do, which is I like to go on Alaska cruises. My mom likes going on Caribbean cruises because she likes the warmer weather. And I like the colder weather. I like the cold. She likes more temperament, coastal climates, you know. She does, however, want to do a, she does want to do one where we're able to go to the northeast, the Pacific, to the Atlantic Northeast. The reason being is because she wants to see the colors of the leaves change. Literally, that is her only wish. I'm like, you know, we could just take a plane there and go for a few days, you know, just hang out and around, but, you know, maybe go on an Alaska cruise, or a cruise might be fine too, you know. And they do have cruises that go up there, so it's not like out of the realm of possibilities. So yeah. That's pretty much it. So yeah. Hydrate. Thank you for the hydration. I have been hydrating. It's been hot. It's been very hot. I know, I left to Alaska and then I came back and it's like 100-degree weather, 100-degree weather, 100-degree weather. I'm like, I was trying to escape this! What do you mean 100 degrees?
Ah! I'm sure it's not that noticeable.
Why are you all like this?
All right.
Why are you all like this? Why do you guys like you know what? I need to add another redeem of you guys nicking my crown. I'll let you guys nick my crown. Because I do have a crown, removing my crown toggle. I just never use it. Should probably use it here and there. But yeah. So, yeah, for the most part, that was pretty much the end of my Alaska cruise, and this is my little pupperinos. Okay, thank you for the head pats. So my dog literally was like this.
Add butter. 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 Add butter.
Don't add butter. Don't add butter to me. Why are you adding butter? Jesus. Anyways, I'll turn off that. Oh my goodness. But yeah, that was my whole, I talked a lot about my Alaska cruise. We also talked about a lot of musical, we talked about musical stuff. Ow! 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 Ouch! Why? Why? Why so many? Ow! Ow. That hurt a lot. Yeah, Twitch integrated throwing system wasn't working earlier. It's because I was just being dumb. I forgot how things worked. But yeah. I've missed you guys. I've missed streaming, honestly. But I have been doing a lot more art recently. I have a lot of drawings. I've been working on a lot of things. Some are whips, but some are like actual other drawings that I've done. Honestly, I think I focus way too much on making like full finished drawings. I'm just like, no, I can make like little sketch drawings here and there if I want to. So I'm trying to like put in more variety of stuff. I'm also working on like doing more small mini comics. Mini comics just meaning like small little comics. Stuff that is really tiny that I can be able to do. And you know, just make it be fun. Have fun stuff with. Ow! Oh, thank you for the resub. Wait. Oh, you didn't use your Prime? I was like, wait, is this a Prime resub? Thank you for the sub. Why did the thing not go?
A devotee has rejoined the sub gang.
Oh, there we go. No, it was a resub. What? That was so
Big hype.
delayed. Big hype. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but let me just really quickly check on something. So I have some news for you guys. I might be, I will be streaming again later today. So yeah, you're gonna get 2 streams today from me. I know, I never do 2 streams. But I will be streaming later today. It'll be 6 p.m. my time, which is like 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Resident old human is oh my gosh. No. Wait, what the heck is this? Oh, interesting. So I will be streaming later tonight, and what will I be streaming? I'll be streaming Stardew Valley. It's a collab. It's a Stardew Valley collab. So she got the Rona. I know. Poor little one. I know how it is. Is it the razor? Is it the throat razor? Is it the razor throat one? That one's the worst one. That's one thing about cruise ships. I have cooties. Oh no, not the cooties. No, not the cooties. Anything but the cooties. Let me just like pull up something really quickly. So, I don't know if you guys have seen. I see we're using our government's name. We've always. What do you mean? I hope this is an art piece, and I will clarify this. So I don't know if you guys saw on my Twitter and Blue Sky, this guy that I posted up. This is the male model, or at least a final rendering of it. I think I've finally gotten to a point that I like. I like what I see. And the funny thing is, on my model, the mouth thing here at the bottom, it's not real. It's part of the dress. His is actually part of his body. He does have a name. His name is Tra, which is the inverse of art. And how it is gonna... I'm clean. Oh my god. And how it is gonna be explained is, I am art creates. I am the chaos of creation. But he is the chaos of destruction. So we are inverses of each other. I might make a little somewhat comic kind of style lore video for him, just so that you guys can get an understanding of who he was and all that sort of stuff. But I'll tell you this much, we're gonna figure out what that black portal does. We'll figure out what this does. We'll figure out what's happening in the portal. What's in the portal? What's in the black portal that we have no idea what's in the portal. What is happening? Why are you guys talking about if Jose is clean or not? What is happening? Can confirm what the... Okay, I don't know what's happening anymore. I've just accepted that things are happening and I can't do anything. But I actually wanted to show you guys this. This is something I made before I actually went on my trip. Of the difference between my first ever model, which was a 3D Vroid model, and my new model. And you know what's so funny that I want to point out? The heart symbolism never left. It was always here. Now, to be fair, when I had thought of the heart symbolism, I had never seen Iron Mouse before. I had never watched her. I didn't know that she had hearts as a part of her symbolism. But I decided to use the upside down heart because I wanted my character to have a spear. I do have a spear. I just don't have it as part of my model. Maybe for a casual outfit or maybe another outfit. Maybe I might have my spear be part of my model. By the way, all my outfits are going to be different models. I've realized, like, I think I might have to rig each one differently or something like that. Base rig, fine, but other parts are going to have to change. But yeah, I was really into cold shoulders at the time. I had a lot of characters that had like cold shoulder stuff. I don't know, I thought it was cool. But I guess showing the shoulders was always something I did. Oh, that's an interesting fan art. Oh yeah. There's a lot of interesting fan arts, man. But yeah. So there's a lot of fun things. There's a lot of stuff that I'm like kind of working on. No, I'm not gonna show that. If I show that, that's like way too revealy. That one I can't even show. Because I don't know if I'll be bonked or not. But yeah. So, let me just turn that off. But yeah, so a lot of cool things. I'm doing a lot more art, so you're gonna probably see a lot of art streams next week. I've got stuff planned. I literally have the schedule for literally the rest of the month. There's no choice if you are plus size. Honestly, true with the cold shoulder things. I think that's why I was into it, because all the clothes that I had were cold shoulders. No, but I actually just really liked cold shoulders. I'm not joking. I genuinely liked them. I don't anymore. I mean, I do have cold shoulders, but in different ways. You guys remember my 1.0 model? My 1.0 model basically had cold shoulders, but how I had done it was at least tasteful. Because technically it was a crop top shirt that had off the shoulder sleeves, and then underneath she was wearing like a turtleneck thing. Wench, you wenching me out here? I wench you. But anyways, I think we're gonna be ending it off here because I actually want to give myself a little bit of time before we're going to be streaming again with a good friend of mine and doing a little collab. So yeah. And the other thing is I gotta change my Fuji tech because I think it's still the gremlin child. You know what? I might just keep it as that gremlin child. I just need to update it for my 2.0, honestly. I don't know if I have the files. I hope I have the files on this computer. If not, I know where to find them. I know where to find the files. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna be ending off here. If you did want to hear the entire story of my Alaska trip and all of that, it's still in this video. This video will probably also be posted on YouTube, probably on Saturday. So the videos are now going to be much closer to each other in dates. Or I could have this posted up tomorrow. I might have it posted up tomorrow. Depends how I feel. Depends how I want to do it. But I might do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like, VOD uploading. But whenever I'm gonna upload it, that's when it gets uploaded. So. So yeah. So if you want to go and check that out, and then, yeah, pretty much that's pretty much it. And I will probably catch you guys all later, like literally in a few hours from now. Probably, okay, 2 hours from now is when I will be streaming again. So that's why I want to go, because I want to kind of walk my dog a little bit. I want to eat, want to make some food and just kind of relax a little bit before before streaming again. So yeah, if I decide not to stream, then I decide not to stream. So it depends how I feel in a few hours from now. But we will be raiding. So we are going to raid. We are going to raid a good friend. Let me see. Who else is there? Interesting. Okay, cool. Jose, can you get the raid message going for us, sir? I know that you're here. Let me get the raid message. Thank you, sir. There we go. And reminder to get the raid message. And just so you guys all know, if you would like to see more from me and more from whatever I got going on, definitely check out all of my other social medias, and of course checking out the channels to either rewatch all of the stuff over on the VODs channel, or watch all the fun edited clip stuff or edited highlights or whatever other videos that I want to work on that are over on the main channel. Or you can always come here live every single Tuesday, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And also, not to forget, if you want to be a part of our community, you can. And as we grow the community more, there might be more community stuff that happens, and maybe even community days with either doing community game night or even community movie night, which we are going to be doing community movie night for Halloween and also for Christmas. So we are going to get some holiday movies and some Christmas movies as well. So yeah. Without any further ado, as I always say, may the stars guide you. Until next time, goodbye, everybody. Oh wait, I just realized I'm not on the right thing. All right, now goodbye. Hydrate. I will hydrate. I literally finished my water. I'm gonna go get more water, and I'm gonna go and relax. So I will hydrate. Make sure that you hydrate and eat. And I will be seeing you all next time. Literally in a few hours.